Welcome to my video tutorial. This is Mary Fish and Stampin' Pretty. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I wanted to show you how simple it is to create an envelope using Stampin' Up! Designer Series paper that accommodates a standard A2 card. An A2 card is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's probably by far the most common sized card. And I've got a piece of really cool coordinating. You can see that it coordinates with the card. Designer Series paper. This is from the Frightful Sight Designer Series paper collection. Adorable. The reason I fell in love with it is it has smaller patterns which are perfect for card making, in addition to the fact that it can be used year-round. Even though this is great, it's got some Halloween colors, I would have no problem using it on many other styles. Now this side, however, has little mini ghosties. That definitely is designed for Halloween. So you've got one side that's great for year-round use and one side that's much more holiday specific. Last time I showed you how to create, using this same technique, a 4 by 4 envelope, or I should say an envelope that accommodates a 4 by 4 card. But at the time I couldn't show you the Stampin' Up! Simply Scored scoring tool. So now I can, because now it's available for purchase. There are some wonderful features. I love that it has a groove line every 1/8 inch, so you can score and do multiple scores for projects that may be requiring smaller measurements. I used to have a competitor's and I used it very often. I'm so glad that Stampin' Up! Has introduced this and they improved upon the competition. But the fact that it has not only the opportunity to score at every 1/8 inch, it also has these handy markers that you just pop in along a little track up above that are going to allow me to recall exactly where I need to place my scores. So I'm going to get started. I've cut this Frightful Sight cardstock to 7 1/4 by 10 1/4. Very simple so far. And then I'm going to start out by scoring it with our stylus. It's very comfortable stylus. It has a larger end and a smaller end, and honestly the difference between the two is more about touch rather than a really distinct difference in the look. You might see a little difference using the larger end because it is a little larger, but by and large I'm finding it's more just about my personal touch. I happen to like the smaller side, but I'm sure that that can vary. So I have set this up to score at 3/4 of an inch and 6 1/2 inches. These other two markers are for when I flip and need to score again. But again, this is so handy and quick. Whether you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you want to do a workshop and you want to have it ready for customers, or it's for your own personal hobby use and you want to be able to mass produce quickly, you don't have to remember where your mark is. A little tip, if you want to actually color code some of these so that you remember that on the first pass I'm just going to do gray, and then when I turn it I'm going to mark these in red and I'm going to do the red. That's entirely up to you. This is a pretty simple pattern, so I'm hoping I can remember. So I'm going to start out by scoring at 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to find the groove and I'm just going to go slowly down, not pushing too hard. Designer Series paper can handle a pretty good push, but you don't want to push so hard that you tear it. And then I'm also going to score at 3/4 of an inch in, which happens to be at the 6 1/2 mark. Again, so convenient that that mark is right there. So how easy is that? You'll note that I'm holding it firmly against both edges. And now I'm going to turn it and I'm going to score at 2 1/4 and 6 3/4. Now, when you're making an envelope, this is going to be the outer side. So it doesn't really matter which end is up, so to speak, but it does matter if you have if the polka dot pattern won't matter. But if you have a pattern that is definitely oriented one direction, you want to be thinking about how you're going to use it. Because these little ghosts are this direction, I made sure that when I turned this, the orientation was this direction, because this is going to be my flap and I will be able to open, and when somebody opens their envelope, they'll see these cute little ghosties on the inside. So that works out really well for me. So the next step, as I've shown you before, is to take, I'm going to use my paper snips, and I think it's easier to see on this side. I'm going to cut out these 4 quadrants, because that's going to create tabs for me. Very, very simple to do. There are so many things that you can do with the score pal. As a matter of fact, I have it ready just to do a nice clean score on all of my cards. Right after I cut the cardstock, I just make sure that I have it right there to score whichever direction I need the score. Makes it so nice. Oops, I want to make sure I get right on the groove. Otherwise, that little extra piece will become annoying. Trust me. And then I'm going to also cut here, right on the groove. Not above or below, just right on the groove. It's easier that way, actually. And I'm going to finish cutting this one up. A little word about adhesive while I'm in the process of cutting. I don't feel snail as much as I find many purposes for snail is the ideal adhesive for envelopes. You need something a little stronger. So I like our multi-purpose glue. And I'm doing this with the camera in my face here. So it's not as perfect as it might be. So don't look at the fact that that's just a little off. Most of it's going to be hidden. So these, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually fold these areas in. And the bottom will go up. See how simple that is to put together? And I showed this on my other video, but just for a little vavoom, you can use our 3/16 corner punch to round the edges up a little bit, make it look neat. Another alternative is this one that I created, and I added a little bit of our dotted scallop trim ribbon border punch. Oh boy, it's escaping me. I'll make sure I put the correct name on the video. Now, I can't tell you how long I used this multi-purpose glue thinking the only end was the top. I'm hoping someone else is out there that did not realize there was a wonderful thick end that you can use on your on these envelopes. So I'm going to actually mark this here with this glue, and believe me, it's going to stay in place. And here. There we go. Oops. Oh no, got a little bit on there. It'll be easy to clean up later. I'm going to fold it over and lay it down. Let's give everything a last little zhuzh. Oh gosh. Oh well. I'm going to keep rolling. And then this is going to fold down. And then when you're ready to send the envelope or send the card, you would just add a little adhesive here and keep it closed. And that would fit inside. So thank you for joining me for this video tutorial. I hope it was a great introduction to the Stampin' Up! Simply Scored scoring tool. And actually, I think it's nice to have a standard A2 envelope in your collection to be able to have envelopes ready and use your designer series paper and for what its purpose is, to create really cool coordinated effects. So again, thank you for watching my video tutorial. I know it was a little longer than usual, but I wanted to make sure you had a good introduction to the new Simply Scored scoring tool. Bye bye.